All right, hi boys and girls. This is our Monday, April 20th lesson on Sacagawea's Journey into History by Jeanette Cannon. And so this should be your Monday assignment, April 20th, okay? So I think this is really great because the type of reading that we're doing is also part of history. And as you can see, it says a biography. So this is talking about Sacagawea's journey. We're going to learn a little bit about Sacagawea. It says, words to know. As you read, look inside, around, and beyond these words to figure out what they mean. So expedition is a word that we're going to find. We need to kind of figure out what that means. Fellow and gap. These are all words, and you're going to have to kind of read before it and after it to kind of understand what it means, and I'll help you out through that, okay? So here we go with our story. You may have seen this gold-colored dollar coin. This is gold. It shows the face of a young Native American woman carrying a baby on her back. She is the only woman on the U.S. legal coin. So who was she? Sacagawea was a Shoshone Indian born at the end of the 1700s in an area now called Idaho. Her early life was difficult. Sometimes between 1799 and 1801, she was captured by a group of Hidatsa Indians and taken away from her people. She was only 12 years old. By age 16, she was married to a French fur trader named Toussaint Charbonneau, who lived with the Haditsas. Her adventures were just beginning. So at age 16, she already lived through a lot of stuff, but it's now going to get even more interesting. In 1803, President Thomas Jefferson decided to map out the newly expanded nation. He sent Meriwether Lewis and William Clark on an expedition to explore the land. So we kind of know about that story from one of our other lessons, but we're going to start learning about how Sacagawea was also part of that. In May 1804, the explorers began traveling on the Missouri River in canoes. One of their jobs was to take notes about what they saw. They drew pictures of plants and animals they saw. They made maps as they went along. They carried with them special tools to help them as they traveled. Everything was wrapped so water would not damage anything. In November of 1804, Lewis met Charbonneau and hired him as a translator. Sacagawea joined her husband on the expedition. Their baby was born soon after the journey began. Though Sacagawea was not a guide on the journey, she helped the travelers in many ways. One of Lewis's and Clark's diary entries from May 14, 1805, tells how Sacagawea's calm bravery saved important objects and information from being lost forever. One day, a terrible storm caused Sacagawea's canoe to tip over. All the men were trying to get the canoe upright. Sacagawea calmly went into the water. Her baby was strapped to her back. She saved the notebooks and tools that would have floated away. Later that year, the explorers came to Shoshone territory. Sacagawea helped them find a route through the mountains. She also helped them buy horses from her fellow Shoshone. A few months later, the group had their first look at the Pacific Ocean. Before beginning the return journey, the explorers built a camp to stay in over the winter. In May 1806, a few months after they had started their journey home, the travelers met a group of Nez Perce Indians. Sacagawea helped the two groups speak to each other. On the other way back east, Sacagawea guided the group along trails she remembered from her childhood. One important trail was a gap in the mountains that led them to the Yellowstone River. The journey ended for Sacagawea in August 1806. People who traveled with her wrote about her cheerfulness and helpfulness. They all said she showed great courage. In 2000, 2 centuries after Sacagawea was born, a special US dollar coin was created. It honors a brave young woman who helped explore a new nation. The US Postal Service issued this stamp in honor of Sacagawea in 1994. Okay, so here's a timeline of some events in the life of Sacagawea. So Sacagawea was born in 1788. This is a timeline. It helps you look at her life. From 1799 to 1801, Sacagawea is captured by Hidatsa Indians. In 1804, the Lewis and Clark expedition. November 1804, Sacagawea and her husband Shivanu joined the Lewis and Clark expedition. May 1805, Sacagawea saves important information during a storm. August 1805, Sacagawea helps Lewis and Clark trade for Shoshone horses. November 1805, the company reaches the Pacific Ocean. December 1805, the explorers built Fort Clatsop and camped there for the winter. 1806, May of 1806, the group meets with several Nez Perce chiefs. Chabarnu and Sacagawea translate. July 1806, Sacagawea and the group reach Yellowstone River. In 1811, March 1811, Sacagawea and Charbonneau move to South Dakota. Okay, so think. Use what you learned from reading the selection to respond to these questions. Look again at the timeline. Based on the sequence shown there, which two statements are true? Lewis and Clark spoke with the Nez Perce chiefs at Fort Clatsop. Let's see. Does Fort Clatsop say anything about talking to those Indians? Absolutely not. So that's not one of them. Sacagawea met Charbonneau during the expedition. Did Sacagawea meet her husband during the Lewis and Clark expedition? No, they were already married way before the expedition. Sacagawea goes on the expedition with her husband. So that can't be right. Lewis and Clark reached the Yellowstone River near the end of their journey. In July 1806, Sacagawea and the group reached Yellowstone River. Yeah, if you look at the journey from 1804 to 1811, this is towards the end. So yes, that is true. So you should be able to circle that one. And let's see if the other ones are right. Sacagawea helped prepare for the journey by buying horses. Did she buy horses? No, she helps get horses for Lois and Clark by trading, but I don't know if that's meaning that she bought them. So let's save that one. The group faces a dangerous storm early in their journey. This is the beginning of their journey, and look, they did have a storm. So I would say yes, this one, C and E are true. Sacagawea was captured by the Hidatsa Indians after moving to South Dakota. No, she moves to South Dakota on her own with Charbonneau, her husband. So that's false. So all you have for the true answers is C and E. This question has two parts. First answer part A, then part B. What event happened first after Sacagawea helped the explorers buy horses from Shoshone? Now this one was kind of hard, boys and girls. I looked through it and it just, for some reason, I don't see how it follows the pattern. But after they buy horses, let's go to the story. Right after they buy horses, it says that a few months later, the group had their first look at the Pacific Ocean. So that's first. I just couldn't find that. Let's look back again. The group stayed at Fort Clatsop for the winter. The group met Nez Perce Indians. Sacagawea married Toussaint Charbonneau, no, false. Get that one out. Sacagawea remembered a gap in the mountains. That's not even part of that paragraph. After they reached the ocean, then they stayed for the winter. So I'm going to circle A. And so I think that you guys should circle A too. I just find that that was a very difficult question and it was hard to find in the paragraph. But after they buy horses, they finally reach the ocean and then they stay for the winter. Okay. And let's go to number 3. Look at the sequence. Oh, I'm sorry. Where did you find the specific information? Yeah, we're going to skip that one just because I didn't like how they expressed it or showed it. So not that one. Okay. Let's clear it and go to the third one. I believe we go to this one, right? Let me make sure. Actually, no. That's all you're going to do today. Make sure that you circle this one, and you are done for today. Okay? Just make sure to take a photo for your teachers, post it that you did this work, and that is it. Tomorrow, we're going to go to this page, page 25, 24 and 25. Okay? Yep, I think that's it. So we're done. Bye, guys.